Hi guys, I'm here with Abominable Guac. I want to install some new fog lights that I got from Night Sun 4x4. I just got back from Jeep Fest, so I'm way too excited to put these in. I haven't had working fog lights since I got my front bumper, which was like February or March. It's been a long time, so it's due time. I just wanted to show you what kind of fog lights I got. Just some regular ones, nothing crazy. I didn't want to take too much away from my headlight. They're pretty basic. I love them. They look great. I changed from the RGB Bluetooth halos to just some regular ones, LED ones that I got from Night Sun 4x4 as well, and they've been working great. So these are the factory fog lights that I have. Nothing crazy. I'll show you. I haven't even had these things connected. Super muddy, super dirty, but my connections were too short. My wires were too short and I had to extend them, but I didn't feel like it, so I just kind of left them for aesthetic looks. But I am working on adding these ones in. We'll see how these go. So before starting, there's a couple things that you need to grab, or at least I grab when I do. I have connectors for the electrical because I need 2 for this side and 2 for that side just to connect them. I also grab a 9-volt battery. I like to check my light connections before installing them just to see if there's any bulbs out, if everything's working properly, see how it looks, and go from there. So you just, and plus you get to figure out which wire is a positive and which wire is a negative, because sometimes they're not always labeled. It's stupid. Or they're not the right color, where you think black is usually ground and people don't do that. It's stupid. Anyways, so here, just 2 wires as a connection. It comes like this, or the adapter for the light, and then I'm just gonna cut off, I'll show you later, but I'm just gonna cut off the connection for the fog light, and then I'm just gonna wire these in. So I'll just show you it working. If I can ever get the connections to touch. So if you can see here, there is 4 bolts that hold the light together, and they are the 4 bolts here. It'll fit in the bumper. I had to, sorry I can't turn around, there my 4 bolts that way. I had to make sure they would fit in this bumper. So there's a couple ways you can do it. You can buy just some connections and get some wiring. I really think this wiring is long enough. I'm not going to have to extend anything, so I'm just going to use what's here. You can get the same size wiring. I believe it's a 16, and I'm using the bigger connections. I usually use red ones, but these are blue ones, so they're a little bit bigger. You probably can't see it. And then I will go from there, but I have an electrical kit that we throw around the yard. It came with the wire crimpers and a bunch of different connections and a bunch of zip ties and some extra line. All the connections I've ever used in the Jeep ever. So you can buy them individual. I just bought a kit because it's easier because we use them all the time. So this is the new light. This is the old light. Okay. I just played through a bunch of mud, so don't mind the dirtiness. So this is the connection for this one, just 2 wires there. And then for the stock one, you can see where it's just a plug. And I actually have mine hanging down here. This usually just plugs in here because it goes right here in the middle instead of out here where I really wanted it. So right now, this one, it's got plastic tubing on it too. I am just cutting the connection off because I don't need it. There's electrical tape on this, so we're going to take that off. And then my dog's running around and rolling in the dirt. She's happy she's home. She just got home with us. So I just took some scissors and I just cut it. They're hanging right here. I'm gonna splice these into it, so hold on and I'll show you. So I just want to show you what I did here real quick. I took some of the plastic tubing off the wire so I can expose it. So it gets a better connection when it's in the connector. What I do is just use these, take the coating off of it, twist the wires, and then put that in the connector, and then crimp it with the top of this. Now, electrical isn't something that's hard to do, but it's definitely time consuming and something I'm happy to pay people to do for me, but things like lighting and stuff I can do myself. So I'm just taking a blue connector and I'm putting the wiring this way. Now when I tighten a connector, I always check it, make sure it's tight enough. So I always wiggle it around. I'm going to put both of them on, so for video purposes, I am going to assume that black is ground, so we're putting black to black and red from the light to this like red and white wire that's under here. I just want to show you what the connections look like. So I put the black to the black and the red to the red and white. My fiance had came out at the time that I was doing this, so I just touched the wires to the connectors and I had him turn the fog light on just to make sure they were right before clamping them down, because, well, you can never be too sure with wiring. So I double checked them and the black was for the negative, so I was really happy about that. Super easy. Alright guys, so I told you I'd show you what it would look like once I was done. You can obviously see they're the cleanest thing on my Jeep. So, let's see what it's like turned on. This is the first time I'm seeing them too. Wow, they're super bright. Super excited. Oh, I love it. It looks so good. And that, I mean, my install took about maybe an hour, not even 45 minutes. Super easy, just make sure you have all your supplies. I just had connectors and some crimps to crimp the connectors. That was it.